So we've been working together for it's been a while, and behind the scenes trying to figure out what we're now calling empirical energy, empirical gas, and all that. But I remember the very first conversation, and in that conversation, you said, "Mark, we got some deals to where we could buy all the RNG in the world and not fill them. There's just not enough volume. It's a small volume and quite expensive. It's not going to work. We've heard about feedstock blending and ISCC. Have you guys heard of this? Can we figure this out together?" So I was really intrigued, like all the RNG in the world, like what kind of deals are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think if you take let's say, just the publicly available goals for most of the corporates and said, okay, we're going to fill all of that with RNG or similar types of technologies. And let's include DAC in that. Let's include carbon offsets or carbon removals in that. There simply isn't enough to go around. There just isn't enough to remove all of the carbon that we currently have in front of us. I'll use Microsoft as a good example. I think they've been amazing in terms of the public data that they've provided. Last year, they emitted something like 15 million metric tons of carbon. They are buying right now about 80% of the entire global carbon removal business, and they've maybe hit 30% of their current emissions. And they want to go carbon neutral by 2030 and then actually reduce all of their historical emissions by 2050. So to start chipping away at it, they need to first be carbon neutral 2030. That includes, which we'll talk about more, all of the data center growth that they're experiencing. So it's a monumental task for one company. And then when you look at the industry as a whole, it's even more monumental. And to that point, I think I said to you is, how do we create something that's scalable? How do we create something that can be lasting? How do we create something that's quantifiable, that can be put into various companies' carbon ledger or their emissions ledgers? And how do we make it scalable? And potentially, how do we combine several streams of feedstock to create an all-in feedstock, whether it be the end user consumer, the power generator, the data center, the feedstock for other green fuels, what have you? And that was the challenge that we started with, about a year ago, as you said.